Today I want to talk to you about the concept of Wu-Wei, which is a Taoist concept. I don't want to go into the details of the Tao, but in Taoism, Wu-Wei has a very special place. Wu actually can be translated to know or not, and Wei means action, making, or a better translation even is forcing. So you should see it as the art of not forcing things. A lot of people think that you should read it as non-action, so trying not to do things, being passive, or sometimes people might even say lazy, but this is not the case. You can think of it like dancing, basically. That's a very nice way that Alan Watts tried to formulate it. Maybe because I have more of a martial arts background, I also like the analogy to judo, actually. So what you do in judo is it's a self-defense sport, and it's one of the very few that is actually very effective if you try to fight against an opponent who is much bigger and stronger than you are. So imagine if you are kind of wrestling with someone who's really bigger than you are, or maybe the same size, and you have to fight him. So you're trying to push against the force that that opponent is trying to push onto you. And you might win, you might lose, but it costs a lot of energy to really negate the forces that are put onto you. And what judo actually does is that saying, no, don't push against that, preserve your energy, and when the time is right, you move with the movement of your opponent and you use that momentum and force against him. So in that sense, if you now consider not a strong opponent, but you consider life or the universe, not to suggest that you should see life as your opponent, you should try to be in kind of a collaboration with that. I would say that your odds would be much better if you do that. But if you do that, then you have the energy and the flow of the world with you instead of against you. So I think that that's a really nice way to look at it. So it basically means if there is a certain thing that you would like to do, but you feel that there's a lot of resistance and you cannot move forward, you feel that it's just not working, the best thing to do is to stop and try to go to a different direction and do something that feels more natural, feels like it comes more easily. And maybe come back to what you wanted to do in a different moment when the stars are aligned more properly for you. Wu-Wei also has a very beautiful connection to nature as well. It is often said that nature is not really trying to do anything, but it still is in effect growing all of these beautiful structures. The mountains, the trees, the rivers, they all exist and they grow and they move and follow the way, the Tao, without any effort. There's a very nice video that I found, which I will link, where a guy is really nicely describing his path to find the Tao and how he's using Wu-Wei. The Tao does nothing, yet leaves nothing undone. So on Monday, I wanted to start the day with nice leg workout. I haven't had a proper leg workout for some time because a couple of weeks ago I felt like I overloaded my back a little bit, so I was trying to keep it chill. But Monday was the day that I said, all right, I had a lot of rest. I think I can probably get back into it. But the first set, the first rep that I did, I felt that something was really wrong. And yeah, I don't know, I just basically, my whole back locked up. And I knew that, all right, this is exactly the best test, basically, to see how well I'm doing Wu-Wei. So I said, okay, don't force it. It was hurting quite a lot, actually, so I also had to call in sick from work. I felt at that moment the best thing I could do was actually go for a walk. And the weather was really nice. It was a really nice morning, and I just had a short stroll around the neighborhood. How can I make the most of the situation that I'm in right now? And I just tried to enjoy the day. And the funny thing that happened was that I was much more open to everything. And as it turns out, I met a friend that I hadn't seen for a super long time. And then I came back home and I saw my neighbor, one of my neighbors, standing on a balcony. And we never basically greeted each other. But then I was just looking at her and she was looking at me and I was like waving. I mean, it's very silly, but it's something that never happened. And I already felt like this is such a simple thing that can make your life really beautiful. And I don't know, I just got very cheerful from that encounter. So Tuesday, I felt a little bit better. I went to work. Um, I actually had a meeting with a friend of mine during lunch. It was a very nice meeting. We took our time. We had a lot of talks. There were also other colleagues that joined. Then afterwards, they said, "Let's go have a coffee." I didn't have anything other planned, so I said, "All right, I will just go with you to your group, have some coffee there." And I met so many people that I hadn't seen for a very long time that I didn't even realize that they all worked in that office. And I also saw a very close friend of mine, which was very nice to see. And yeah, nothing really happened, only that I was more open to engage in social connections and don't be so forced on productivity all the time, like just I think that was a really nice experience. Then at the afternoon, I had one thing that I really wanted to be there as well. That's why I wanted to go to the office. I had a meeting with a manager from a group that I wanted to move to, and we were actually going to discuss kind of salary increase or negotiations about that. Normally, I would really try to negotiate at that moment, but I said that just be open, just be open about what you want. And I also didn't want to tell any lies. So I just said, you know what, I want to join your group anyway, regardless of what you offer me, but I just want what's fair. And she really appreciated that. And that, yeah, we just had a very nice talk. We had a good connection. And at the end of that conversation, she said that, all right, we're just gonna go ahead with this transfer then. Like it's you should be in my group. And I was very happy because I was working on this for a very long time. And I think that if I would have tried to force to get the most salary out of that discussion, I would have not set such a nice framework for future collaborations. On Wednesday, we had a group offsite. There was a kind of lecture from an HR person, and it got into a very high school like setting where you all sit in rows and then you kind of listen to a boring ass presentation. But I really got into this high school mindset, and um, I yeah, we all became a little bit like high school kids. For a very long time, I didn't laugh as much as I did doing that presentation, and maybe it was a bit annoying and childish, but I really enjoyed it so much that I didn't care. So again, it was kind of staying open for the funny and unexpected things that might happen during your day and not try to be so serious. Really trying to embody that feeling of trying to dance through life. Yeah. On Thursday, I got invited to go out for food and drinks. And surprisingly, I went to a restaurant and to a bar that I've never been to. And I'm living in this town for 7 years, and it was really great. It was super fun. The food was good, and then in the bar there was a a band, a group of old men. They were actually called Men with Beards, and that's what they were. They were old men with beards, and they were playing this kind of country music that you wouldn't even think about listening. But then in that cafe bar kind of thing, it really clicked, and the atmosphere was really great. So it was a very enjoyable evening. Saturday, I spontaneously went to my parents. They don't live that far away, but I don't see them that much. I was kind of there in the morning, so it was really nice start of the day. Finally, at the end of the day, it was the first day of a big event in my town, which is called Glow. Um, it's like a thing that is organized through a whole town, and they have all kinds of projections and artworks at night. And that was the first day, and no one wanted to go that day, but I really wanted to go. So I went by myself. I said, well, who's stopping me? I can just go by myself. And I did. And I think it was really good. It was perfect for me, basically. So also going out by myself, which is something that I don't do that much, it's a good lesson that you don't need other people to do what feels good in a moment. So a couple of finishing thoughts. I really enjoyed trying to be more in the moment and try to actively experience the sense that I can change myself to make life a little bit easier by moving along with what is happening in the world. If you want to put this into practice, I think there are three key points that I can highlight that can really help you to make it more concrete and easier to follow. One is really don't force anything. If you have a plan, but something happens, you can always switch. You can let go of that plan completely or adjust the plan in such a way that the events that happened are more aligned with what you then want to do. Plan more time for things or just plan less things. And third, try to dance through life. This metaphor is really strong and it really explains well what, at least for me, the core of Wu-Wei is. It means that the world is playing the music and you are there to dance and to have the best combined experience is if you can listen to the rhythm and dance to the rhythm instead of dancing the moves that you think are right. And if those two align, I think you can see that very beautiful things can happen. All right, these were the last thoughts. I hope that you had a very nice experience watching me. I hope you liked it. I loved it a lot. Leave me a like, let me know what you think, and have a nice day.